Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Code to be a Java Programmer. Today is day 45 of our coding journey. Yesterday we discussed why Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. Today we'll dive into two important keywords in Java, super and this method. Let's get started. At the super method and this method in Java. So in order to understand this, let me create two classes, A class and B class, and I'm inheriting the A class in B using the extends keyword. And then how will we access this B class? We'll be creating an object for it, right? So in order to keep this simple, let me create a constructor. How will we create a constructor in B? Public B of, that's it. So this is the simple way of creating a constructor. And let me type inside B. Okay, so now if I run this program, what will be my output? Any guesses what will be the output of it? Inside B. You know why inside B is the output of it? Because during the object creation, constructor will be instantiated and thus this part has been executed. So I hope you have understood. Now let me also create a constructor here. Inside A, okay. Now let me again run this code. Now what will be the output this time? Is it inside B alone? Let's check it. No, it's inside A and inside B. You know why? Because each class during its execution of its constructor part, it will include its superclass too. So here what is the superclass? Here A is the superclass and B is its subclass. And thus during the instantiation of its constructor, it calls the superclass 2 in the subclass. Okay, I hope you have understood this. Now let us also create another constructor. Now this time let us create a parameterized constructor which accepts an integer. Okay, parameterize B. Okay, so I wanted to, instead of calling the default constructor, I wanted to call this parameterized constructor. So I'll be passing a integer value here inside this. Now this time what will be the output? Is it only public B? I mean the parameterized B? Let's check. No, it's inside A. I mean the constructor of A class along with the parameterized B. You know why this happens during the execution of this? Why the superclass is being called every time? So there is something called as super method inside each constructor. So even without explicitly stating it, there is a super method inside each constructor. So let me show you. Okay, so this super method is will be automatically be inside each constructor. Okay, we don't have to mention it, it is automatically there. So since each time when I call the constructor here, that is when an object is being created and when the constructor is being instantiated, it will be going here, and inside this constructor automatically the super of will be called. Now you know what is the function of the super of method? It calls the constructor of the super class. So now it calls the constructor of the super class, and this part gets executed, and only if it is done it comes here and this part will be executed. So this is the work of the super method. So that's why each and every time when you call a when you call in constructor, its super class constructor will also be get executed. Okay, now let me show you. Let me remove this integer value and show you once again. Yes. Now let me also create a parameterized constructor inside A. Parameterized A, okay? Now I'm calling B, right, this time. So what it does, it goes to B, the superclass of constructor will get executed and this inside B will get executed, right? Now let's check it. Yes. Now let's say I wanted to call the parameterized part. Okay, now parameterized part in the sense I don't want to call inside A. I wanted to call this parameterized A. So for that what I'll be doing is I'll be passing the integer here. Now what happens is instead of calling the default constructor, it will be calling the parameterized constructor, and after that the inside B gets executed. Uh, yes, you can see it, right? Now this is how things will work. Now you might have a doubt. Okay, so the meaning of having a super method inside this is somewhat sensible because this subclass will be having a superclass. Now why there is a super method inside the constructor of this superclass? Yes, you know why? Because each class will extend to an object class defaultly. Again, it's like the super method without mentioning it explicitly. There will be something there without mentioning. So it is okay. So this is not explicitly shown, but every class in Java extends to an object class. Okay, and that's why this super of method is there. Now let's say I wanted to call the both the methods, both the constructors inside the class. That is, I wanted the inside B, of course, along with parameterized B. So for that, what you can do is instead of using the super method, we can use something as this method. Now you know what is the function of this method? It's just a way the way around of the super method. This method calls all the constructor inside the class. You know what the super method does? It calls the constructors of the super class. This method calls the constructors within the class. Okay. So now what happens is when you call int a parameterized constructor B, this method gets run. So what happens? The super of that is the super method, the constructor of A gets executed, then this inside B will be the output followed by system.out.println, that is the parameterized B. So this will be the output. Let's check it out. Yes, inside A, then the constructor of P followed by the parameterized constructor of P. Okay, I hope you understood. Now in this super method and this method, the things what we have learned is four things. First one is each subclass constructor calls its superclass. Now how is this done? This is done through the super method, which is not explicitly shown, but in order to call the parameterized one, you should call something with the value inside. Okay, and the other one which you need to remember is every class extends to an object class. And this method, you know what this method does? It calls all the constructor inside the within its class. I hope you understood this. That's all for today. Thank you. Understanding how to use these methods effectively helps in writing clear and maintainable codes. Thank you for joining me on day 45 of Let's Code to be a Java programmer. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified about our daily coding sessions. See you tomorrow for day 46. Happy coding!